AITA for curating my mother's YouTube Reels? I am not the OOP. OOP is you, the Corvids call. AITA for curating my mother's YouTube Reels? Originally posted to our AITAH. Trigger warning. Emotional abuse and manipulation. Controlling behavior. Anti-LGBTQ views. Physical abuse. Less than. Original post October 6, 2023. Backstory. My Gen X mother and I, Zillennial, generally have a good relationship. In this way, the emotional crutch middle child and their trauma-riddled workaholic parent can. She has always claimed that I could tell her anything, but due to a mix of refusing to be a burden and attempting to tell her about something only to be shot down harshly, I just don't share certain things with her. She has always been a bit sensitive about LGBTQIA+ topics, mostly the LBT, to the point that she and I got into a verbal argument that escalated to her putting her hands on me and trying to push me around. I am half a foot taller than her and significantly healthier, so bar a couple of bruises where she grabbed my arms, I was fine. But the incident shocked both of us as I said, we generally get along well and have never fought before. This led to me setting a hard boundary about what topics we can and can't talk about. I also decided to put off telling her I am non-binary or explicitly telling her I am bi. Pretty sure she knows, but I have never come out to her. After this, our relationship was back to normal. She avoided saying anything negative about LBT topics for a while and then started hesitantly asking questions on basic subtopics relating the LGBTQIA+. Last spring my landlord raised my rent, and while I could afford it I ended up moving back home. My mom and stepdad started having financial troubles, so we concluded it would be better for everyone if I moved home and turned the second floor into an apartment. My rent would be half what it was before. I would have more space. I loved the area, and me and my parents were getting along. I moved back about mid-spring. However, until the renovations are done, I have been on my mom's couch. The story. My mom got really into YouTube Reels at the beginning of the summer. She doesn't have headphones and she plays the vids at full volume so you can hear them from everywhere in the house. Which is annoying as I didn't have a room to go to get away from it. What is worse, she managed to fall into the alt-right rabbit hole, and so her reels are all gender critical and anti-feminist content. Since I was the person she talked to the most, she talked to me about them. I ended up playing disinformation corrector, and while she won't argue with me, she will pull the agree to disagree, or say anecdotal evidence in response to actual medical, statistical info and change the topic. On top of that, she watched these reels for hours in places like the kitchen and living room as early as 3:30 a.m. while I was trying to sleep, and this has led me to start having disturbing dreams featuring anti-LGBTQIA+ discrimination. Then about a month and a half ago she needed to use my laptop for something. When she gave it back, I noticed she hadn't signed out of her Google account. So I decided to take the opportunity to curate my mother's reels. I didn't block anything, just followed some more wholesome accounts I knew were centered around things she likes. Things like funny, uplifting animals, science fact pages, specific home, garden stuff, etc., and 2 pro-LGBTQIA+ info channels, which basically drowned out the alt-right content as she hadn't learned how to subscribe. After that, her and I were having in-depth conversation again, and both of us were in noticeably better places mentally. A week later the major renovations got done and I had my own space again while still talking to my mom daily. However, last week I was watching Netflix on my laptop with my older sister, Millennial, younger sister, Jens, and my female cousin, Zillennial, and they saw I was still logged onto her YouTube when they asked why I told them the truth. My little sister loved it and laughed, saying thanks cause she was home for the summer and didn't want to hear that rhetoric as background noise either. Then my older sister laughed but said I probably should have just sucked it up. While my cousin said I was an SS hole cause I violated my mom's trust and privacy over something and that I could have just stuck it out. Since then I have been feeling kinda guilty and wondering if I crossed a line. So AITA? Relevant comments. Ready Competition 66. Yeah, you did cross a line. You didn't curate, which implies consent. You violated her privacy by snooping at her choices and then you changed up all her preferences on her without her consent. I'm sure she'll be fine if you ask her. Which is WHO you should be talking to, not us. I'm guessing that you'd rather get our expected blessing rather than actually talking it out with her. It's pretty clear why. 2. You don't want to deal with the blowback. As a gay man, I can totally understand the pain of dealing with a phobic, bigoted parent. I just don't condone trying to fix it by violating privacy and consent. You're no better than some of the people she follows by doing that. Oop replied. I actually told her the day after I posted it. TBH, it was more to vent the situation and get any potential advice, which I assumed would be geared towards telling her. I however do not believe I snooped into anything. We common share the laptop and have used each other's YouTube prior. I never opened anything that we have not knowingly allowed each other to open. As well as she does not hide the videos she is watching even in the slightest and is now even referencing them in direct conversation. Also, and I know that this is a semantic issue, but curate does not inherently imply consent. It does imply in this context that I felt my opinion on what my mom would like to see and should see in her reels was well informed. Which the assumption of the last part was crossing the line. Even if I only subbed the LGBTQIA+ informational content because she was asking me questions. Perhaps the word colloquially carries that implication in your region, but it does not in mine. I actually chose the word because I thought it best described what occurred, which was me searching and collecting, selecting, and then presenting what I believed was what she would like to and benefit seeing in her reels. My major fault is when I decided I was qualified to decide what she would benefit from and that the presentation was forced. However, despite the fact that when I told her she did not care, ultimately I agree I did cross a line by not immediately telling her. Update September 9, 2023. So I told my mom what I did a day after posting on here. I couldn't shake the feeling that doing this without her knowledge and with the feeling that I was well informed on what would benefit her to see. She didn't care. Just asked how to subscribe to channels. I showed her and she is now subscribed to quite a few popular alt-right mouthpieces, so that's bitter. As before, when her reel feed was based only on likes, there was at least a chance she wasn't going to be seeing them daily. Plus their rhetoric is now being parroted at me despite trying to restate my boundaries of what I am not willing to talk about with her. TBH, I have concluded that I just need to deal with my mom being one of those, I'm not homophobic, misogynist, racist but kind of people, and am going to impose a bit of distance. It will take a bit to get used to not having T+ discussion time with my mom nearly daily, but I will survive. This is a repost sub IAM, not the OOP. OOP gained a few internet people's approval but is probably on a path to losing a mother. Tragic. Violating a boundary by following channels without her consent. Really? What a weird take by people who are without a doubt chronically online. And y'all wanna talk about consent? Let's talk about the fact that OOP didn't consent to being bombarded with videos trying to invalidate their very identity while they were paying rent but also living on a couch for an extended period. Everyone saying she violated boundaries and consent needs to learn what those words actually mean. Don't use grown-up words if you can't use your grown-up brain. Damn it, Reddit. What the hell is wrong with you? Oop had actually improved things and you convinced her to ruin it. Do you know how many times I wished I could just disable Fox News on my grandpa's cable? It would have made his final years so much more enjoyable for everyone. Oh my god, I can't believe the commenters convinced her to tell her mom loudly crying. Are we all just ignoring the physical assault, abuse that left bruises on Oop? I wish I could do that for my parents. They are absolutely defenseless against propaganda and algorithms. And they can't even comprehend the ways it affects them. Jesus, what a disaster. They shouldn't have listened to Reddit nonsense advice. They have to live with their bigot parent now for God knows how long. It's easy to have sterling pure morals when you're terminally online and not actually having to deal with the situation. Their mom is just going to go farther and farther into hatred, but at least they did the right thing. It's not an invasion of privacy. Especially when you blast whatever you're watching anyways at all hours. Another example of Reddit's stupid black and white views on morality at play. What the hell were people thinking? Telling Oop to just suck it up and tell their mom about their actions? Yes, snooping bad. But we already have so many idiotic old bigots in the world. Why create more of them? Now Oop is stuck living with a rapidly indoctrinated bigot and have to hide both their gender and sexuality because of Reddit people thinking they know better. Even then, I swear when I see posts about a QAnon, far-right conspiracy theorist family members, people often recommend cutting out the source material for the indoctrinated anyway. Make it make sense. Reddit. My disappointment is immeasurable, and my day is ruined. Then my older sister laughed but said I probably should have just sucked it up. While my cousin said I was an SS hole cause I violated my mom's trust and privacy over something and that I could have just stuck it out. You should just suck up your mom's bigotry that previously resulted in actual physical violence. LMAO what? The people jumping up and down saying this is some major violation of privacy need to get off that high horse. During COVID my dad watched God knows what videos from Latin America which were very ignorant things. He didn't like being questioned on what he would learn. So in the end I told him if you can find what you are saying. For example, baking soda prevents COVID. From 2 or 3 sources, then I would believe it or consider the information. His feed died down to more funny stuff after the elections, so I'm glad he didn't fall down the rabbit hole, but still not happy with how he was fed all this. That commenter really pissed me off. As a gay man, he doesn't have any idea what it is like to be a trans person in this time period. Having to constantly hear gender critical, transphobic content and have it parroted by someone as important as a person's mom. I'm a queer woman, but I'm also cis and my experiences will always be colored by that lens. I've had a glimpse by virtue of being a visible trans ally. Some of the most horrific misogynistic abuse I've ever received has been from gender-critical men proclaiming to be standing up for women's rights, and from transphobes assuming that I must be transgender because they cannot comprehend the idea of queer cis women supporting trans people. And they will dehumanize you so rapidly when they think you're a trans woman and then try to walk it back just as quickly when they realize you're not. There's a bit of a joke in the queer community that cis gay men are the weakest link and guys like this are exactly why. The algorithms aren't neutral. They push alt-right content because conflict and controversy generate more engagement than gardening. This wasn't an invasion of privacy or consent as much protection from wolves. Ooh, I effing loathe the "let's just tolerate intolerance and everything will be better" crowd. As if life is a Disney movie or something. I thought we knew better by now. I hope they're happy with what their virtue signaling brought to OOP. WTF at the people telling her she did something wrong. What she did was rational and sensible. Period. What a bunch of dumbasses who convinced her to tell her mom. Older sister. Millennial. Younger sister. Gens. And my female cousin. Zillennial. Sweet Jesus Christ. Unethical to forego consent? Sure. Is it gonna make their life better? Absolutely. Someone in the comments said this is like turning the channel away from Fox News at the nursing home, and I couldn't agree more.
If you enjoyed this video, please check out our playlists full of similar content. Epic Eracast is like doom scrolling for your ears. Please like, share, and subscribe.